Nearly half of South Carolina's driving fatalities each year are DUI related. And in an effort to lower the numbers of that statistic, the South Carolina Department of Public Safety is teaming up with state and local law enforcement agencies to beef up enforcement, but also to raise public awareness as we approach the long Labor Day weekend. And here to talk more about what's known as the Sober or Slammer campaign from Troop 6 of the South Carolina Highway Patrol, Corporal Bob Beres. Great to see you, Corporal.
Thank you for having me on.
Why the need for this Sober or Slammer campaign?
The need for this campaign is not just here in South Carolina, but it's nationwide. It's a collaborative effort between all law enforcement agencies, whether it's state, local, and federal. The reason why we have this campaign is last year, our local law enforcement networks arrested almost 30,000 people for DUI in South Carolina. Now that is a staggering number. So it's out there. We also want to tell you that almost half of the fatalities in South Carolina last year were alcohol related.
That's amazing, Corporal.
Almost half of the people that drove in South Carolina were involved in a fatality were done behind the hands of a drunk driver. So we have to get out there, we have to get this message out there. And the way we do it is the public's assistance.
Well, you actually have a PSA running now. There are two that are running, the second one started, but the first one, you take a look at the responsibility of someone who knows someone may be getting behind the wheel and drinking. So we're going to show a little bit of that right now.
Here.
I thought we were just getting gas.
Well, you thought wrong, baby. Pop one for me.
Corporal, you really want people to make that phone call if they suspect someone's driving drunk, correct?
Star HP is the easiest thing a person can do. That's star 47. It's a free call on your cell phone, and we need to get that drunk driver off the roadway. So if you see a cause for concern with the vehicle in front of you, whether it's swerving, going under the speed limit, the lights aren't on at nighttime, whatever your cause is, please call that number. That will go into our local dispatch office, and that office will dispatch a trooper to your location, and that's what we attribute majority of these arrests for. We can't see everything, but there's a lot more people on the motoring public on our roadways that can help us.
I can imagine. You can't be everywhere at once, but there would be, if people really took that initiative, probably a lot more people who are driving under the influence may be stopped and prevented from doing any harm. You've got a second PSA. We're not going to run that, but tell me the content or what that's aimed at.
The second part of the PSA is the court procedures over the first one. You know, when you drink and drive, you not just lose your license for 6 months. That DUI stays on your driving record for the rest of your life. And not to mention, if you take a life of someone while under the influence of alcohol and or drugs, you're looking up to 25 years in prison per person.
My understanding from something that I read recently, maybe you can tell me if this is correct, that with DUI fatalities, often it's someone that's had a previous arrest for drunk driving or driving under the influence that is involved with those fatalities.
We do see a lot of repeat offenders. Let me tell you, nationwide, statistically, with driving under influence fatalities, we're looking at just about one person every hour loses their life in the United States by the hands of a drunk driver.
What do you say to that person that says, gee, I've had just one or two, or I'm only a mile from my house, it's going to be okay?
What I can tell you is right now we have several holidays coming up in the near future. You already know where you're going to go, who you're going to hang out with, even what you're going to wear. Have a plan before you leave. Have a plan such as have a phone number of a cab company with you. If you plan to stay at that residence, stay there. If you are a designated driver, we ask you to be responsible with that. There are other people in your vehicle relying on you to make sure they get home safely. So don't go sneak off and have a drink while they're intoxicated. Be responsible. Maybe the next weekend you could have your fun. We all know people work hard and want to have a good time, but we want them to do it responsibly.
Well, that's very good advice. Will there be additional roadblocks or checks during the Labor Day weekend?
You can expect an abundance of road checks throughout the state of South Carolina, and this is a collaborative effort with our local law enforcement networks also. We're in what's called the 100 Deadly Days of Summer. We're at the end of it. It started Memorial Day, it ends Labor Day. I can tell you last year, in just 100 days, almost 6,000 people were arrested for DUI. So this is one of the biggest holidays for us in the state of South Carolina. It's kind of like the last hurrah before the fall begins. So we are going to be out there, but we all ask you to be responsible, have a good time, but don't get behind the wheel.
Well, we want to thank you, Corporal Beres, for joining us on the Hilton Head News, and thank you for making the roadways a safer place for all of us.
Thank you for all you do.
When we come back, a new tool that will help find members of the community with dementia or Alzheimer's when they get lost or go missing. We'll hear from Sergeant Robin McIntosh next.